Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Dragon Ball Nation. Today, me and Mike from Laughingstock Media are going to review episode 53 of Dragon Ball Super. Mike, you want to introduce yourself, even though this is going to be on your channel too?
Hey guys, it's Mike here from Laughingstock Media, and we're doing a special review today in which myself and Josh are going to be talking about episode 53. And a lot of reasons for that is because I don't really know how much there is to talk about.
There isn't a whole lot to go off of, and I just feel like doing reviews solo for this episode is kind of weird. We did this before in the past for the Copy Vegeta versus Gotenks episode, I believe was the one.
Yes.
Where we also had MJ. I know the whole intro for this freaking video is going to be completely weird, but it doesn't matter. We're reviewing the episode together. We don't do this all the time, but we're going to do it now. Episode title, Reveal Black's True Identity, now off to the Kaioshin Realm Universe 10. It wasn't a bad episode. It wasn't great, but it was good. In my opinion, I think it was a good episode. It wasn't great. There was some cool stuff towards the end, but we'll talk about that in terms of Zamasu and stuff. As always, every week, we watch them live, and it's translated on Twitter by Herm from Concentra, so I'll leave a link to his Twitter down below, and I'm sure Mike will too.
Yeah, shout out to him because he's
give
always
credit.
been very helpful when it comes to this.
Sometimes I forget to mention, and I do apologize, but he does deserve the credit here. But Mike, what do we have here in this episode, in the beginning parts at least?
All right, so essentially what happened in this episode was that Goku was going along with Beerus and Whis to the Kaioshin Realm, or the realm of the Supreme Kais, that exists outside of the sphere of the universe itself in Universe 10, because Whis and Beerus believed that they had felt that energy somewhere else, and they had apparently felt the energy of the apprentice Kaioshin, Zamasu. And his master and him were basically conversing about their opinions on the Ningen, or the mortals. And essentially his master, Omasu, they were talking about, whether or not the mortals are dangerous and whether or not they really, are like a good thing. And so essentially, Zamasu, I feel like, wanted to be more interventionalist. And so his master said, no, it is the role of the Kais, not only the Supreme Kais, but rather all of the Kai in general, to not be interventionalist, but rather they give the catalyst for the creation of life. And it was kind of in particular for when the Supreme Kai himself came and, interfered in the Buu saga. But ultimately, it is not their role. And essentially, at that point in time, Goku, Beerus, and Whis show up, and Goku wants to spar with Zamasu because he's Goku and he likes to fight people because Zamasu is apparently a fighting genius. And that kind of kicked off what happened next. And what happened next, Josh?
Goku went Super Saiyan 2 against Zamasu again. We're not really sure what the whole Super Saiyan 2 deal is. We're not going to dwell on it here. It could be a whole different video topic, but Goku and Vegeta are really only supposed to be using Super Saiyan 1 right now. Mike, we've talked about this off the air, and I believe I mentioned in a video that if they use Super Saiyan 2 in the tournament saga, they should have, Vegeta would have beaten Vegeta easily, probably. And it's just very strange, but I don't want to dwell on and lengthen the review with this pointless banter right here, but I do want to quickly note something really quick that I thought of when you were talking about how, the Kais, all the Kais are really are not supposed to intervene, right?
Yes.
Even though, King Kai has done stuff with our main timeline, that maybe could touch upon maybe why he didn't get involved with and get in contact with Trunks in Trunks' timeline.
Yeah,
I mean, obviously, they never thought of it. They completely didn't write that in the story, but that could be, a headcanon, I guess, to explain that. But it still doesn't explain why, after all that time. I guess if he didn't know about New Namek, he wouldn't have found it. So I don't know. I guess you could look at it like that as some sort of an answer, and I guess that's fine to look at.
Yeah.
But the fight, the little battle, the animation was decent. The animation throughout the episode's fine. I don't want to dwell on it because if it's decent, there's nothing really to talk about. The fight was cool. Goku, but what happens is Goku feels the energy of Black when he's fighting Zamasu. And all this stuff, happens, and we talk, we see the time rings and all that stuff, and there's one time ring in the box that they have on that planet of the Kais right there, whatever that planet is, of course.
Yes.
There's one time ring, and there's some green ones in the back. I don't really know what those were. I don't think we have any answer on what that was, but there was the one silver ring, and that's clearly foreshadowing the fact that who most likely Black is. Obviously Zamasu, but what it seems to be pretty clear cut that is Zamasu is Black.
Well, I mean,
He's
it
going to be
seems
using
like
that.
they're definitely
ring.
leading us in that
We don't,
direction.
even though this episode says Black's identity reveal, it's never confirmed.
Yeah.
But they have similar key, which is stuff we already knew before this episode. So we really didn't learn anything new. That's the point I'm trying to say here.
Yeah, except
But
for Zamasu seems pretty strong. He's way stronger, obviously, than our own Kaioshin in Universe 7. But
Right.
basically, like, when Beerus and Whis went to examine that, they went to try and ensure that they had the smoking gun, essentially. They had the proof that Zamasu might have been this Goku Black character. Although, I mean, it seems like they are definitely pushing that direction. We know that Dragon Ball is a simple show. Most of the time, the obvious answer almost always seems to be what they're going to go with. But I do kind of wonder about his master. I mean, he is the pupil, Zamasu is, of that Kaioshin.
Right.
So maybe they're kind of trying to throw a twist in there. I mean, I don't really know.
maybe he's the one that's Black,
But-
possibly.
Yeah, I mean, it's very possible, but I would say that there is an interesting kind of tidbit that we did see at the end after Goku, Beerus, and Whis had left, and Goku had basically handed Zamasu his ass. First off, Zamasu seemed like he was primed to use some kind of technique or to use something, and his master told no.
Yeah, his
You're-
arm was like charged up,
Yeah.
kind of like how, I guess in a way, Nappa's arm break looks. It was just an aura around his arm, I believe. And it was very clearly Black's aura, but that could be the aura of the Kais from Universe 10. We don't know.
Yes, and after that as well, basically, I guess that he used the fight with Goku to kind of, like, you know, fuel his own prejudices towards the mortals. So essentially, he had said that, you know, now he believes that mortals are dangerous after all, and that Son Goku is going to pay for, you know, kind of embarrassing him in front of his master and just, you know, being able to hand his ass to him,
Not to
essentially.
completely cut you off, that kind of does go good. A little bit doesn't really fall in line with what Black actually was. Because he said that, you know, humans were the god's only mistake. But to me, it sounds like he's concerned about their danger. Zamasu is. That's what I think. And, you know, obviously, I guess he doesn't really understand. I mean, he heard, you know, that he was a Saiyan. I don't really think he thinks of them to be any different than a regular human, though.
I mean, it's possible, but at the same time, he does, in the future Trunks timeline, go out of his way to talk about, you know, calling him a Saiyan and trying to make it seem like there's negative connotations about that. So maybe, you know, Zamasu finds out about the Saiyans. Because the thing is that we gotta remember, Goku Black, all that stuff, Future Trunks timeline, not only is in a separate timeline, but it takes place in the future. We
Right.
don't know if time necessarily works the same way in the different universes. I mean, it probably shouldn't, and he does have a time ring, but
Right.
ultimately it could be possible that that Black, you know, is from, like, the future of the current timeline that they're on in Universe 10.
Yeah, like I don't like, not to cut you off, guys. I just wanted to, just so just so I say it so it's relevant.
Yes.
You know, we talked about this off the air during the episode. If Black is in Trunks' timeline, knows all about Goku, and he seems to have that connection to Goku like Zamasu did. Again, if Zamasu actually is Black, which we don't have 100% confirmation of,
Yes.
but it's leading up to be that way. It doesn't seem like Black is even from Trunks' universe. Obviously, I guess he would be from Universe 10, but would it wouldn't be like Trunks' universe is Goku going to see him, right? There wouldn't be any Beerus
No, I mean,
connection. It's very strange. So is it? I really don't know.
Well, even then,
I'm very
there's
confused.
even more foreshadowing, perhaps, because at the same time, when Black first shows up in our Universe 6 in the main time, or Universe 7, actually, in the main timeline, he even looks over in Beerus and Whis and says, "Oh, the God of Destruction is here." So he wasn't even surprised about that.
Right, and I believe he recognized Vegeta as well.
Yeah, so the fact of the matter is, it almost seems like what Toriyama said in that interview about how time travel might work differently in this case, and he's going to change the rules a little bit, almost might be implying that essentially, you know, it's almost like they're going to meet this character in the present, but then, like, his history is going to be changed in the future, like his future, which is going to alter the history of Trunks and all this other stuff. And they have, like, this time ring now that they've introduced into the storyline. So I wonder how, like, crazy and wacky all this time travel and everything's going to get. And some kind of spoilers I'm not going to really mention, like, almost suggests that in a couple episodes, it's going to get really kind of different from what we expect.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of wondering where that's going to go. But I mean, I feel like this episode was pretty good, and it is seemingly,
No, it was.
again, setting up more stuff to come in the future, more kind of interesting elements to come that I'm definitely looking forward to. I thought, it was executed well, and that's one of the main things I have to say about Dragon Ball Super in this current arc. The execution tends to be very good. There's only little issues like the Pilaf gang who won't just get out of the way, so we can see a little bit more of the stuff that's going on.
Yeah, we saw the Pilaf gang again today, and it was not nearly as bad as it's been in past episodes. Now, I want to preference people on my channel, hopefully know I talk about it a lot. I love the Pilaf gang, I love their gags, but recently they've been very, very misused, and they've been put in these serious situations to kind of lighten the mood, but they just don't fit at all. And again, this is another one of those scenes, not as serious, but just there was no gag really. Like, what was funny about them being here? Also, Mike, I do want to mention, because I basically shit my pants when I saw it.
Of course, I was waiting for you to.
Trunks was I shit my pants, and then the other end had something going on too. Trunks sees 18.
Yes.
And number one, it's always great to see 18 get some spotlight because, well, I like 18. But when 18 sees Trunks, Trunks gets his sword ready, which I understand there's like, something there, but I kind of feel like maybe that was a little bit, that shouldn't have really happened, Trunks getting his sword ready, because wouldn't he have still known that like 18 wasn't really, wasn't really the same 18 as he knew, right?
Yeah.
Like after, he was revived obviously in the Cell arc. But regardless of that, he didn't go and strike her. But 18 walks up and says, long time no see, Trunks. This is from Herms. Long time no see, Trunks. I hear you killed me over in your world. And the way she like got up to Trunks was, it looked some damn seduction going on there, but I don't think any of that was happening. But 18's always talked like that, which is,
well, there's
a plus,
a reason.
But,
there's a reason why they didn't show Trunks in that shot from the waist down.
He looked so nervous. But I honestly, just the way that scene was made, I like how she like just put her fist up to his chest.
Well, yeah, but the general thing that was going on, for people who might not know, is that essentially 18 shows up and, Trunks is talking to Krillin, and so, Trunks is going to freak out. He's ready to attack 18 because he thinks that she's still a threat, and then Krillin reveals, wait a second, no, she's actually my wife, and we have a daughter, and so he sees, Krillin with his daughter.
Like, look, bastard.
Yeah, and Trunks is like, oh, I'm the only one who's forever alone here, I guess.
Well, it's because everyone's dead.
Well, that's true.
No, but I mean, people know I like 18 for whatever reasons. But no, I think that was a really good use of her character, like in an honest sense, like without my bias of her. I think that was a good use of her character. Actually, I think it was smart of them to do that.
I would have liked more focus on that and more focus on the Black and Zamasu and Goku and that kind of storyline, and a little bit less focus on the Pilaf stuff.
I mean, we were talking to Danny, aka Geekdom, off the air a couple hours ago, and he said don't expect too much in this episode, and he was right.
Yeah, I mean, they make us wait a week, and then we get a decent episode, but. I mean, it seems like maybe they're building to something. We still, Black's identity revealed, and then we don't get his identity revealed. So,
I mean, it seems pretty obvious that's going to be Zamasu, but at the same time, I've talked about this multiple times. I know I sound like a broken record to people that watch my videos, and we talked about this off the air, Mike. Dragon Ball is very, very simple, but this, making Zamasu black is almost too simple, because even if you're not someone that analyzes the show like us, or goes and looks at all the like, let's say the Jump previews and stuff that have like all the information, because we knew that they had the same key for a few weeks, I think. Even if you don't do that, it seems pretty damn obvious before this episode that he was gonna be black. That's just my opinion.
I mean, he looks green to me, but I know what you're saying.
Oh,
yeah,
I know. So many people say that. Jesus. Well, no. There are the people that are saying, "Oh, he can't be black because black is in the future." I'm just like, come on, bro.
He has a time ring. It doesn't matter.
Well, I think it's gonna be interesting. I was talking to you earlier, and I think it'd be interesting if this Zamasu is obviously Zamasu being black. Let's just say that if this Zamasu decides to, obviously with Goku's intervention here, if that's different than what happened to the other blacks, we have no idea what happened to him.
I mean, there could be one every single timeline. There could be one just in every time, like a single one. It
would be interesting if Zamasu himself becomes like an ally of sorts and tries to combat with the evil black, I guess. I don't know if that sounds confusing to the viewers, but I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I mean, maybe him and Goku accidentally fuse, but you'll save that for your prediction video.
Well, yeah, we'll see what happens. But I think we really covered everything, Mike. Is there anything else you want to really add? I don't know if we missed anything too major. Obviously, Herms doesn't translate every single piece of dialogue, but he translates pretty much 99% of the time the most important things that are actually worth mentioning. So if we do miss anything, you know, I apologize. So I don't really think we're going to miss anything, though.
Yeah, so essentially just let us know your own thoughts down below in the comments section if you liked this episode, if you didn't. And don't forget to, you know, check out Josh's channel if you're on mine, and check out mine if you're on Josh's, because I'm a
He'll be
self-promoter.
linked down below. He'll be linked down below. I'll be linked down below on his. Check it out. Hopefully you won't be disappointed. You know, I can't promise anything, but, you know, give it a try. This review is all over the place, Mike, that's for sure. But, you know, hopefully you guys did enjoy it. That's always important. I don't like to disappoint people. So, you know, hopefully you guys enjoy this video. Mike, anything else?
No, nothing else. See you later.
All right. See you later, guys.
What? What do you want? Why are you still watching the fucking video? Do you expect me to say something? Well, I know what you expect me to say, but I'm not going to say it. Rubber baby buggy bumpers.